Welcome, everybody, for the second game in our doubleheader here at East River Soccer Complex, where the Bluefield University Rams look to take on the CIU Rams here in a great day for some AAC play. The CIU Rams come into this contest undefeated with an 8-0 record to the Bluefield University Rams 4-4 record, but are coming off an amazing win away at Columbia College, where they redid that match since when they went away a couple weeks ago. They got rained out, and it was actually a better match for them in the case, scoring 7 goals, 7-3 win on the road, coming here looking to take down number 1 in the AAC, CIU. I'm Jackson Bass, joined today by Ethan Stinson. And Ethan, I don't know, this is going to be an interesting contest because we've seen the Rams do some amazing things. Of course, they kept the Reinhardt University Eagles to a 2-1 victory, and that's a Reinhardt team that's receiving votes in the NAIA poll.
Absolutely, and then also, you got players like Johansson that really has that strong leg to kick and sort of keeping that at a minimum. And also you got Mendoza, a great goalie, very skilled one at that. And definitely, just to recap the score from earlier, if you're just now tuning in, the women fall to the CIU Rams 2-1.
Yes, and like you said, you named a couple of their better players, like Jake Mendoza at goalie, who's stepped up quite a bit today, not today, but this season, along with their center back, Axel Johansson. But we really have to commend their striker in Devin Calloway, who has just, he's been a very big name, of course, coming in from being a right wing last year to that big striker position, filling in for the graduated Michael Gutu, who's currently an assistant coach here for the Bluefield University Rams, coached by Justin Morton, assistant coaches, like I said, Michael Gutu and Gabriel Blackman. And the CIU Rams come into this, like I said, undefeated, just tearing things apart. Ethan, we talked about it. They are currently, when it comes to goals scored versus goals scored on, they are up 26-2.
And that's 13 times all their opponents combined. They've only allowed 2 goals in their whole time on this season, whereas I think Bluefield might be a little bit more closer in ratio.
Probably, coming in here 4-4, but definitely a big team to beat here at the East River Soccer Complex at home. If you're in the area, come on down. But if you can't come on, please come down next weekend when the Rams take on Bryan College for the Community Day. First 50 people get Chick-fil-A, and I know myself, I definitely enjoy a free Chick-fil-A sandwich. I'm going to thank a couple of our sponsors. Since 1989, Black Tie Charters goes the extra mile to provide its clients with exceptional service. The Rams ride with Black Tie Charters. Make your next event special with Chick-fil-A Mercer Mall Catering. The Bluefield Mercer Mall location offers delicious options such as strips, nuggets, salads, and boxed meals. Chick-fil-A Mercer Mall. Eat more chicken. Dutchess Dairy produces whole 2% chocolate milk and drinkable yogurt at their plant in the heart of Rural Retreat, Virginia. Dutchess Dairy, the Rams' choice for milk, as the two teams come and line up for their player introductions. Now, I do believe we might be having a prayer or an anthem prior, so you'll be able to hear that, but we're going to turn down our mics here. We'll be back.
Thank you. At this time, we ask everyone to please stand for the invocation and remain standing for our national anthem. Sunshine and the good weather, we ask that you protect these young men as they go forth in the game of soccer, that they may play with sportsmanlike fervor, that they may glorify you in all they do. Heavenly Father, we ask for travel safeties as we all leave here today, that everyone may arrive at their homes safely, and we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
keep talking about that. Yeah. We're back. Yeah, Ethan, like you said, you were talking about the resilience in that women's team, but a lot of it has to do with the defense. I talked a little bit with Coach before, and they plan to run a 4-3. Sorry, I'm having some trouble with my cords. But a 4-5-1 where they want to end up playing this team very conservatively. They're not going to have as many people trying to be on the offense, which will be a little interesting to see. We usually don't see Bluefield run such a conservative offense like that, but it'll be interesting to see how they're able to keep the score close. But it'll take just about everything for the Rams to win this one against a very tough CIU team as they do their quick huddle and go towards the line.
Looks like Graham's going to start out at the right side. Or excuse me, Bluefield University. I'm not sure why I said Graham. I guess the red uniforms must have gave it away for me. Think so.
Number 17, Kevin Garces out of Medellin, Colombia, is in the circle to start. If we get kicked off again, I'm going to knock it down. And we're back, folks. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Seen a lot of action here in the first 4 minutes of the contest. It's almost to the goal and knocked out of bounds. Goal kick from Mendoza coming up. And this first score is a very important one in any sport, but especially soccer, a very big mood changer as Mendoza knocks it to Oliveira and knocks it back as it's kicked away, almost hitting two of the athletes on the sideline. Throw in by Quintilla. Trying to get past the Oliveira. But he doing a great job, knocks it out of bounds as Molina, the freshman out of Wade Hampton High School, is back. Kicked up. Number 4 with a big deflection off of Viscaro. De Oliveira heads it up. Mendoza punts it. Canarero, the senior out of Salvador, Brazil, kicking back to Lay. And across the field to Yamamoto. On the far touchline. Rolls out of bounds. Going on a foot race with Callaway. Lay kicks it away to Yamamoto. Dandridge staying in front. Fighting on the edge. A little bit of a shove out of bounds by Williams. As it's kicked up and away. Summerall. Callaway in a foot race. almost out of bounds. And rolls out. His possession goes back to Columbia International. There's a throw in. Possession still with CIU. Thrown in across midfield. Number 26, Leon. Still there. Throw in. Well shoved by Santos. Yamamoto stopped by Dandridge. There's a lot of contact is involved, but nothing is called as it goes to Callaway. Get across Johansson with a wide open field. They're going to call that offsides as Johansson was past number 4, Canario. As the possession goes back to the Rams. Canario off the head of De Oliveira off the near touchline. There's a throw in for the Rams, Yamamoto. Saved by Mendoza. The cluster of Rams from both sides as he punts it away. Yamamoto. Dandridge trying to trip up Yamamoto. Scarrow knocked down as that goes across to Quintilla. A lot of legs flying. That's kicked up. Yamamoto. Mendoza there to stay in front. As he drop kicks it. Overheaded up by Canario. Up. And right into the sideline of CIU. Johansson sprinting, trying to stay in front as Lay passes it by Callaway, kicks it over as Quintilla rushes in to the attacking third. Rolls out of bounds, possession for Bluefield. Dandridge for the throw-in. Check that, he passes it over to De Oliveira. Hold up. That was Jim Nander, not De Oliveira. Jim Nander, the other Swede. Freshman. Jim Nander right past midfield. Throws it in. Kicked up. A little bit of confusion there, but Lay stays in front. Collins. A couple of shoulder shoves. As it's kicked out of bounds, possession still goes to the Rams. Williams out of Fisco, Texas, not too happy with that call as he was in a little bit of a leg lock with Jim Nander. Santos to Callaway. Cleared away. Over to Williams. Still keeping it in bounds. Jim Nander and Williams. Collins kicks it back as it's kicked over to Dandridge. Named Nani as his nickname for the soccer player so wellly known as Lay. Punted across midfield up by Collins. Williams and Dandridge. Dandridge gaining possession as he kicks it over to Collins. Knocked out by Jim Nander. Yamamoto to throw in. Kick back to Lay from Abongo. Kicked out of bounds by Abongo. Possession still with CIU. Callaway limping a little. Jim Nander. Yamamoto claiming it was out as it's kicked away by Abongo. Headed by Summerall. And a foot race. It's kicked over to Williams. Jim Nander kicks it away. It's kicked up by Collins. A lot of contact there. Bit of a shove coming by Constanti, as he's been warned here in the first 15 minutes of play.
Not a good thing ever, Jackson, to get a warning.
No, he was not flashed a card, so I don't think it'll be statistically counted against him, but the ref did give him a little bit of a stern talking to. As they set up for the PK. As there's the wall. Mendoza deflects it. And a sprint over. and rolls over the far touchline as possession goes to Bluefield. Headed up, Collins. Jim Nander over to Dandridge. As that's kicked away in a sprint, but Lay gets his hands on top of it as he rolls it over to Canarero. I apologize, Carnero. Kicked over to Igor. Igor, the foot fight with Rodriguez as it's blown dead and possession goes to Bluefield. Johansson here to kick it away. Just kicked across. Santos. Williams tripped up. Costanti almost kicks it over to Collins, but Collins unaware as it rolls out of bounds, and Yamamoto to throw it in. Jim Nander. A lot of legs going over. Rodriguez, check that Summerall. Falling down as it's headed up towards Johansson. Johansson with the short and tall kick, rolling out of bounds, knocking the far press box. It's the one thing we never have to worry up here on this hill, is that we'll never get hit. Well, I checked that. We almost got hit by a flying ball a couple weeks ago.
Needless to say, the baseball game that I about got hit in the face with one time.
As rolled over by a bongo. Carnero on the far touchline as he sets up. Kicked over towards Yamamoto. Rolls out the back line, setting up. Mendoza for the goal kick. Misses Callaway by a hair. Suso's in a foot race, accompanied by Sumrall, who Sousa I would describe definitely as a conservative wing, which can, kind of falter either way. When you're a wing, it's definitely, like I said, it's an attacking position, but you have a tendency to not have your wings come back in time to help you defend when the time comes. As that's kicked up by Collins. Kicking over to a bongo. Yamamoto. Almost rolling. A little flustered there is Mueller out of Chemnitz, Germany. Obongo chipping a couple people over, including Garcia, as it's kicked back to Lay. Carnero. Summerall over to Gonzalez. As it's knocked out of bounds, possession still with Bluefield. Johansson over to Rodriguez. Igor tripped up by a couple Rams as Callaway knocks it over to Summerall. Summerall over to Garcia. Garcia making his way into the attacking third. All he has Mbongo in front of him. As that's bicycle kicked over to Dandridge. Santos as it rolls right to Lay. Carnero. Kicks it back to Lay. Kicked over to Obongo. Up by Santos. Yamamoto and Garcia trying to get a piece of that. Yamamoto almost fakes out Collins. A lot of contact there. Nothing called. As Summerall is tripped up by the ball. Kicked in. Dandridge trying to help as Mendoza clears that away on the near touch line. CIU has possession. Yamamoto trying to trick up Garcia as it's knocked out of bounds. The possession still with CIU is Yamamoto here to throw in. A little bit of a thing by Jim Nander. Williams slow to get up, and it goes right in past Mendoza. And this is the game-setting score as CIU goes up 1-0. Now 27-2 when it comes to goals scored versus scored on, and Callaway coming center.
So make that 27-2. For their overall stats.
Callaway kicking it back to Johansson. Kicked up and across. Garcia. As it rolls out of bounds, the possession still goes with CIU. Yamamoto throwing it into open field. As trying to kicked away by Carnero, unable to. Santos backed over to Dandridge. Garcia and Yamamoto both tripped up. Kicked over and across to Carnero. Slide tackle by Johansson. Kicked over the crossbar as the setup for a goal kick. Mendoza for the goal kick. Carnero kicking up and behind. Sumrall. Callaway with nobody in front of him. Into the goal! Callaway as he goes to our on-field photographer in Rodney Casey. Whoa, what an sight. Now that shows you that now the Bluefield is on CIU stats as having one of those 3 goals as they look to add to it here. Wow,
27-3, man. Listen, this is the play we needed. I think Callaway had a lot of momentum. No defender could catch up to him, and he really got in the blind spot of the goalie there.
Yeah, Lay came out just a little too far and not able to retract as we have 18 minutes left and quite an exciting half. Now CIU back on their toes. Kicked over to Yamamoto. Abongo. It's cleared across by Carnero. Over, almost headed out. Mueller kicks it up. And that goes over the crossbar as the Rams, as Bluefield sets up for a goal kick. Couple of substitutes. As Yamamoto tracks across the field. Coming in for him, number 21, Maglio, out of Caledon, Ontario.
So we got someone from Canada here today.
Yes, we do. As that's kicked across midfield. Rodriguez to throw in. Callaway. As it kicked back, Callaway trying to get up with Carnero. Callaway tripped up. As there will be a penalty accosted to Carnero. Wow.
Good, a flag on the play finally.
Here are fans up here on top with us. As here is another opportunity for the Rams. Rodriguez. Check that. Garcia off the top crossbar, out of bounds. As it dwindles down to a little less than 16 minutes here in half number 1. Kicked over. Collins As it goes back to Mabongo. Garcia and Callaway. Collins deflected. Collins still gaining possession. It's almost kicked over the head of King. Be kicked away by Mueller. And rolled out of bounds as Jim Nandier goes to recover it. Dandridge here to throw in. Summerall. Check that Garcia. Cleared away, but Collins staying in front. Garcia. Over and across. Sousa. Bicycle kick. But Lay stays in front of it, as that'll be definitely one for the highlight reel if it had gone in. But even still, that was pretty cool. As Mueller and Dandridge on the near side. Kick across. And Rodriguez able to prevent that goal from happening as it goes off the touchline and kicked up and away. Almost on where you come up the hill as it kicked up and away. And a throw-in coming up for CIU.
I believe we got a corner kick getting ready to come on.
I wasn't sure since it came off of the side if it was going to go up or over on that corner. But the corner kick, like Ethan said, is coming up. What are those big opportunities either made or missed here? As that's kicked. Stopped up by Collins. Check that. Possession's going to go to the Rams as that's off the body of a CIU Ram. As Mendoza sets up. Summerall. Callaway. Garcia trying to get past Bongo. Kicked over. Stopped up by Lay. Cleared. Almost past that far touch line. As it's kicked away across over to Mueller. And over the goal and against that net wiring fence that actually stops balls from going across. Kind of confusing how it, it's like up and down, up and down. Why wouldn't they all just be straight up to catch the net? But beyond the little things, Mendoza sets up to goal kick. As that's kicked away. As he laid on top of Summerall with a foot fire here from Santos. As it rolls out of bounds, the possession still comes with the Rams as Rodriguez tosses it into Viscaro. A couple body slams together. As Viscaro's tripped up. Rodriguez gaining possession. Kicked across. Nobody there as it rolls out of bounds, possession to Bluefield. If you're just now joining us, it's all tied up here, 1-1 against the CIU Rams as that's headed up by Callaway. Callaway knocks it over as that's kicked away. Johansson. Garcia trying to keep it in bounds as it rolls out. Yamamoto to throw it in. Going back towards Obungo. A lot of contact there, and possession still going to be with CIU, as there was a big, I wasn't sure, outside of that little thing you might do with your friends where you shoulder bump, and he knocked out a ram from Johansson.
He rammed him.
As they set up here for the free kick. A little too much there. Couple Rams tripped up as it's kicked back and kicked away by Garcia over towards Yamamoto. Callaway. Kick coming from Mendoza. As Yamamoto's there to head it. Collins misses the head. As that slide tackle still garners possession for the Rams. Jim Nander and Williams getting a piece of that. Carnero. Kept up by Jim Nander. As that's kicked over and across. Mueller almost there. Headed up and knocked out of bounds, but that'll be a throw-in for CIU as Yamamoto trots across the near touchline. Off the chest of Collins, and Yamamoto to throw in once again. Jim Nander rolls out. Throw in for CIU once again. Williams. What I can only assume is Drake Collins' family or just fans of Drake. Definitely excited about the defense that he's been showing here as that's Santos over to Callaway. You got a big hit from Obungo. Possession still with Bluefield. Mendoza coming out to kick it away. As we get within 6 minutes 30, as that's kicked across over to Viscaro, off the back of Viscaro, but he popped right back up. Callaway blocked by Lay, but Collins checked that Summerall. Trying to get in a little bit of a foot race with Yamamoto. Almost out of bounds as Dandridge knocks that over to Collins. Kicked up. Collins staying under it. Give him a little bit of a shoulder. It was funny because Mueller was like, I didn't do anything, but I saw Collins' feet come off the ground there. As coming up shortly is a kick from Johansson. Free kick. Headed out by Yamamoto. Dandridge. Pissarro back to Rodriguez. Out of bounds, but possession goes back to CIU as we come within 5 minutes of this half. Rolled out of bounds on the far touchline. Rodriguez throws it in over the back of Vizcarra's head, kicked up. Out of bounds. Throw in by Collins. Coming across. Up. Mueller there. The cross. Vizcarra up. Jim Nander trying to get away from Mueller. Almost a foot to the face there as that's kicked away. Callaway and a bongo. But Carnero gets a hold of it, kicks it across over to Mueller. We apologize for the technical difficulties once again, but they'll be setting up for a free kick here. As that slide tackle rolls out of bounds. Thrown in. Picked up by Vizcarra. As Rodriguez throws it in. As a minute 20 comes in here, and it's kicked over almost on top. But CIU gets possession. Mbongo kicked across towards Mueller. Drandredge with a little bit of a shove. Nothing's called though. It's kicked away by Summerall. Kicked away by Santos. As it's kicked over almost to Garcia, but a little short. Yamamoto getting a hold of it. Callaway almost there. Tripped up by a bongo. 40 seconds left here. As Lay punts it away. Vizcarra towards Garcia. Headed away by a bongo.
So we got someone else down on the CIU, but he's getting back up.
As 8 seconds dwindle down here. And that's it for this half. Hopefully we'll be having less technical difficulties as we go into half number 2. Thank you guys for joining, and stick around here we'll be back in about 15 minutes as we see how this one concludes here at the East River Soccer Complex. Score now 1-1.
You say you have vision. But where's it taking you? Because true vision is seeing what could be, contending with the status quo. It's taking what shapes you and using it to shape the world. It's the higher calling, from the one who calls you his own. The higher vision, where visionaries are made. It's taking the higher road to a higher education.
And we're back here for half number 2. And before we analyze a little bit what was going on, I do want to thank a couple more of our sponsors. Gigabit Networks offers broadband internet speeds faster than outdated phone company DSL and comparable to cable with no data caps. Gigabit Networks going further with the Rams. Now, Ethan, we've seen a lot today. Of course, the Rams keeping it very close between the two. And this is going to be a game that if Bluefield can win, could go down in history.
Yeah, this is a very historic game. You know, this will probably make the headlines on our website, bcrams.com, for a week. You know, this would be an interesting thing to write, whoever has to write it.
It'll probably be Bob Brad, our SID, who does a fantabulous job with the website. Like he said, you can go to bcrams.com to catch up on just about everything. And I know that there's a constant talk on trying to figure out how we can get it to be BU Rams, but I think somebody else already owns that domain. I tried to buy it so that they would have to buy it for me, but somebody already owns it. But I think it's like Barams, like I think it's some kind of clothing.
Either that or maybe a restaurant or something like that.
Something like that. I don't know. It's really weird. But if you own BU Rams, I bet you the college would, talk to you if you wanted to give up possession to us. But as we start in for the second half of play, as the Rams look to break the undefeated record of CIU here at the East River Soccer Complex in what we're turning up to be a historic game as Devin Calloway steps into the circle here to start off our second half. And here's the kick. Johansson clears it. Back to Lay. Carnero. Back to Obongo. Kicked across, going down the far touchline. Jim Nander trying to stop it up. Constanti that rolls out of bounds. Yamamoto getting a hold of it. Throw-in. Headed up and on the right side of the goal. Ram down. Johansson as he slowly gets up.
Looks like you're setting up a corner kick.
As they set up a corner kick. Here's the kick. Stopped up, kicked away. A distance there. Kicked back towards Dandridge. Dandridge kicks it up. Sprinting in front, but Lay clears it. As it's kicked up. Garcia, as it rolls out of bounds. Possession for CIU. Quintilla from Battery Creek High School as that's headed back. Still kept in bounds. As possession goes back to Bluefield as there's a throw in by Rodriguez. Kicked away. Johansson kicks it up. Jim Nander. Kicked away over towards Lay. Carnero. That's kicked across towards the far touchline. Tripped up a little. Possession goes back to Bluefield as the CIU Ram was not too happy with that. Kicked away by a bongo. Johansson. Slide tackle attempt by Santos, and Carnero goes down. As a yellow card is flashed.
Ooh, talk to the
to
card.
Santos, who Santos has actually caught a couple of those yellow cards here in the season. That is yellow card for him, number 3. As time is stopped, and they add a minute to it as they set up for this free kick by Yamamoto. That's headed away. Headed up. Rodriguez. Over to Rodriguez. Fighting towards the edge as it's tapped up by Carnero. But they're going to say last to touch it was Rodriguez. The possession goes back to CIU as that's knocked out of bounds. Possession Bluefield. A little confusing. The line jabs put it in possession of the Rams, but CIU ended up getting a hold of it as Viscaro kicks it away. Rodriguez slide tackle attempt. As the ref comes to talk to Rodriguez. Sorry about that. Rodriguez. About that one. Another free kick coming up from Yamamoto. Had it up. Another head. Mendoza grabbing it from going right inside as it goes right back out. As he sets it up to be kicked away. Viscaro not able to get in front of it. Constanti. Yamamoto kicks it away. Kicked up by Jim Nander. Kicked away by a bongo. Kicked back into possession of the Rams. It's given to Viscaro. Viscaro making into the attacking third as it's kicked away by Carnero. And possession still with Bluefield. Just now joining us, CIU and Bluefield tied up 1-1. As that's kicked away. And it'll be a corner kick for Bluefield as Giovanni Constanti out of Arlington, Virginia, Washington Lee High School sets up for it. If you're just now joining us, like I said, it's 1-1 as CIU and Bluefield tie it up here going into set. It's not set. half number 2. Almost rolling off the back touchline as it's rolled back behind the goal. Kicked away. Dandridge. Santos. As it's kept away. Dandridge. Kicked up. Rodriguez kicks it past. Kicked away. Quintilla not able to get there as that rolls out the back line of Bluefield. And Mendoza sets up for the goal kick. Here's the kick. Headed up. As that's blown dead, and the sideline of CIU coming out to yell at the refs as this kick comes up from Mendoza for Bluefield. Here's the kick. Over towards Rodriguez. Knocked out. And Tony Rodriguez out of Virginia Beach throws it towards Callaway. Callaway and Carnero. Kicked away. Headed on the side of the goal. Nothing there for the Rams. Very close and showing how they are going to very well compete with this undefeated CIU team. As that's kicked from Lay to Abongo. Knocked up. Yamamoto. Collins. Get the cross. Callaway there. Stopped up. Kicked up by. Almost, but right into the hands of Lay. Callaway not able. As it's kicked over to what would have been Molina, but over to Johansson. Molina. A little bit of contact there against Rodriguez. As they set up for a free kick, as it's kicked over to Quintilla. Headed away. Cross midfield. Bongo stayed right in front of Callaway, so when Callaway tried to turn, they just fell on top of each other. Almost into the box. Kicked away. Johansson. Over towards Yamamoto. No in front of Dandridge. It's about Carnero getting his foot in front of it and Lay stopping it. as that goes across the field. Jim Nander. Santos in a foot race. Kick back. Carnero kicks it up and over, headed away by Johansson. Callaway not there to recover as possession goes back. There's a CIU ramp down, and I believe that is Carnero. And they're going to take an injury timeout as the ref is calling for a trainer to come out. We're going to take a short break, and we'll update you as soon as we know.
You say you have vision. But where's it taking you? Because true vision is seeing what could be, contending with the status quo. It's taking what shapes you and using it to shape the world. It's the higher calling from the one who calls you his own. The higher vision, where visionaries are made.
And we are back. Apologize for another technical difficulty, but like I said, it was Carnero who was injured as that's thrown in. That could be a big hit for CIU as that's kicked away from Dandridge. And CIU was looking for some kind of penalty against Callaway. As racing, almost rolling out of bounds. Check that, did roll out of bounds. The possession goes back to Bluefield. As our clock is getting fixed currently. All tied up here as it gets 15 minutes into the second half. Rodriguez, Yamamoto, as that's kicked up and out the back line. But nobody's moving into possession, so it'll set up a corner kick for the Rams of CIU. As taking that corner kick is Mueller, the senior out of Chemnitz, Germany. Kicked up, headed away by Santos. Rodriguez over to Summerall. Summerall kicking it towards Callaway. Yamamoto kicks it away and out of bounds, almost hitting our fans in the bleachers as that rolls over the bleachers and down back towards the hill. As there's a throw in by Rodriguez over to Summerall. Off of Quintella. Possession still with Bluefield. Collins taking the throw-in. Headed away. Costanti kicking it past the back line. Almost hitting our photographer on the field, Rodney Casey, who does some amazing stuff. On our Instagram at Bluefield Rams, on Instagram, Facebook, and you can see all of our great content on Instagram and Facebook via at Bluefield Rams, as that's kicked by Jim Nander. Summerall, Sousa, Callaway tripped up just a little bit as it goes over to Obongo, then to Yamamoto. As it's kicked up, Mueller trying to get past Quintilla, kicked up and across past the back line. Mendoza set him for this goal kick. It's kicked up and on top of the press box.
They probably felt it rumble.
Yeah, bouncing a couple times. As that's thrown in by Yamamoto. Kicked up. Callaway keeping it into possession of him, but able to steal it away over to Quintilla. That's to Mueller. Kicking it back to the goalie and Lay. Dandridge. There's a little bit of pushing and shoving on both sides. They call nothing. CIU coming in.
It looks like they scored another goal.
A little bit of confusion there, but it looks like there's a goal in favor of CIU, and the CIU Rams go up 2-1 with 26:59 left here in half number 2. And the Rams will have to garner something together, create more opportunities on the offense if they want to come back and tie this, maybe take it into overtime or score 2 goals, which is very possible in 30 minutes, as Callaway takes center once again. Hit away on the far touchline. Possession goes back to CIU. Yamamoto to throw it in. Knocked out of bounds by Dandridge. Carnero making his way back in the game. That's Mendoza stops it. 26 minutes left in this half. Kicked away out the back line. A little bit of pushing and shoving. A lot of whistles being blown. I believe Devin Calloway was up in that fight as the Ram looks to, CIU looks to shake his hand almost. Looks like they did shake hands and everything's all good. The ref is conversing with a couple of the players.
No cards from what I see.
No cards were thrown. Coach Morton telling his guys to keep this game under control and do not let their emotions take hold.
They can take hold pretty fast.
Especially in something like that, as a missed head by Collins. Kicked away by Constanti. Almost an open space as it's kicked over to Callaway. Callaway kicks it across towards Rodriguez. Stolen away as a flag. Nothing called, but definitely a trip up from Rodriguez. He's going to get possession back to CIU as 24:20 is red on the clock. Here comes the kick from Lay. Kicked up by Carnero. Mendoza coming out of the goal. A Bluefield Ram is down. I believe that is Drake Collins. And we're going to take a quick break and hope that everything is all good with Drake Collins here in a sec.
You say you have vision. But where's it taking you? Because true vision is seeing what could be, contending with the status quo.
And we're back as Drake Collins has walked off the field. Believe he was just knocked just a little bit. Hopefully he'll make his way back into the game if all is said and good for him, as Mendoza has possession for Bluefield. Here comes the kick. Kicked up. Nothing was called on that possible shove, but CIU making its way down the field. Carnero coming in over to Mueller. Sousa defending as Mueller looks to try to pass it through. Almost a slide tackle attempt. Is coming up as a corner kick from Quintilla. 23 minutes left here in half number one as it's kicked back from Carnero to Quintilla. Giving a little bit of space. Abongo not able to kick it over. Mendoza staying in front. as he kicks it across. Hit up by Yamamoto as it rolls out of bounds and right into the hands of Coach Morton. Drake Collins coming back into the game as he throws it in. As it's headed up and out by Bozab out of Hostland in the Czech Republic. Here to throw in. Thrown in. Missed head attempt. Bicycle kick. Almost over onto the side. And possession goes back to CIU as it's kicked over to Lay, the goalie. Still ample amount of time for Bluefield to create the opportunities they need to get this goal and tie it all up. As Sousa and Callaway. Sousa bicycle kicks it over to Callaway. Over to Garcia. Rolled over past the side. And a sigh from the sideline. Starting to discourage the Bluefield Rams. Kicked away by Lay. Kicked over towards Sumrall as Quintilla kicks it away. Dandridge stopped. Jim Nander stopped as that's kicked away. And Carnier almost making it in the net as it goes out of bounds. The possession is still with CIU. Sousa rolls it over. Kick towards the Rams' goal, but Jim Nander is able to let it go towards Mendoza as Mendoza kicks it away. Constanti and Yamamoto a little tripped up as a whistle is blown. And possession goes back to CIU. Lay coming out to kick. Yamamoto as it's kicked up. Santos. Quintilla. Dandridge missing. Saved, almost stopped. Into the goal by Mueller, and the Rams of CIU go up 3-1 with 18 minutes left here in the second half. This cannot be a very encouraging half for the Rams, Ethan.
Well, you know, and it depends on which Rams you talk about. For CIU, it seems like it's almost the last nail in the coffin as it's 18 minutes, you know. Very unlikely that Bluefield will come back with two more. But if you're the Bluefield Rams, you know, other side of that coin, you know, You come in tying the ball game at the half, but now you're looking at being down by 2 with less than half of the half to go. So it's a fourth.
And we've talked time and time again how Bluefield has always been the underdogs. And we'll just see right now if they can pack some resilience as Mueller gets a hold of it. As it rolls out of bounds, the possession goes back to the Rams of Bluefield. Fozab kicks it back to Abongo. Kicked across the field. Mendoza coming out and kicking it away over towards the BU sideline. Snatching it up in the air. Thrown in. Whistle was blown, but hands were up. I know that shows that you were not touching him, but it also shows guilt. So, as that's kicked away, headed by Jim Nander, as Sousa gets a shoulder, and it's thrown in by Yamamoto. Jim Nander and Williams, as it rolls out of bounds because he was not able to kick it back in. Kicked away by Mendoza. Whistle blown on Sumrall. Possession goes back to CIU. Kicked across. Nothing blown. CIU not happy with that as one of their teammates went down. Rodriguez grabbing the arm of Mueller as a missed head by Carnero. And Dandridge kicks it up. Mendoza kicking it away. As it's kept in bounds by Rodriguez. Sousa stopped up Carnero with an open field. No one in front of him. Stopped up by Mendoza. As that rolls out of bounds and possession still with CIU. Carnero fixing his shoes and socks. If you're just now joining us, the CIU Rams lead the Bluefield University Rams 3-1, and there's about 14 minutes left of play as Sousa, as Quintilla goes down. Nothing called. Looks like that could have just been the slip of something.
Oh, the yellow card.
But they flashed a yellow card at Andre Sousa. Andre Sousa out of, I want to make sure I have this right, yes, out of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. who has definitely shown a lot here as this PK comes from Yamamoto. Rolls out the back line. $13.50 left here. As that's kicked away and up by Collins. A little bit of a whip. Oh, and the Bluefield University Rams were not happy with that after missing what would have been a call on Devin Calloway, blowing a whistle on a Ram.
The fans aren't happy.
No, they are not exceptionally happy with what they would consider a lack of consistency in the refs as Bluefield loses possession and Yamamoto is up to kick from CIU. Yamamoto missed by Constanti. Yamamoto slide tackle attempt but missed as Mendoza almost stops it and it rolls right into the goal past Mendoza. I'm not sure which CIU Ram got that, but Carneiro let it walk right by it as it rolled in, and CIU goes up 4-1 with about 12 and a half minutes left here in regulation.
I don't think we'll be going outside of regulation.
No, and I understand, but here in play, as
that's the third goal scored by them this half.
Jim Nander lines up, and we can definitely see why that statistic of 27 to or 26 to 2 at the start now. 29 to no, you're right, 30 to 3 as that's kicked away. Nothing called. Carneiro in a foot race with Dandridge. Wide open space. Kicked in again. And another goal. This one coming from Carneiro. Rafael Carneiro out of Salvador, Brazil. And the Rams go up here as we can see the Rams start to falter even more, being more discouraged each time than the previous. As the Rams have scored, the Rams of CIU have scored 4 goals here in the second half. And that's 4 unanswered goals.
And 2 goals in the last minute.
And 2 goals in the last minute. That's kicked away by Johansson over to Quintilla. A lot of aggression coming from each side. As that's kicked away towards Carneiro.
Looks like someone's down.
And that did not look very pretty as there was an arm and a leg. As they're going to take, I'm not sure, because if he was genuinely as hurt as he was screaming, he would still be screaming, but he popped right back up. So I'm not 100% sure what happened. And a yellow card against Drake Collins.
We've seen a lot of talking to the card today.
And possession goes back to the Rams as the clock reads 11:15 here in regulation.
Callaway's not happy.
No, he is not. Devin Callaway arguing with the refs. Almost has to calm himself down for getting fear of a red card.
And red card means, boom, you're out of the game. It's ejection.
As they set up for this one, 11:15 left here in the game. As whistle blows and play resumes. Tensions rise here in the final 10 minutes of play. Almost saved by King as that's kicked up and away on the far side. Possession still with CIU. Throw in for CIU. Kicked away. Back past midfield. Gaining better field position. Kick towards Rodriguez. A little bit of a tap there against Jim Nander. Summerall practically throws Lopez to the ground. As that almost makes it through. Deflected. Yamamoto knocking it over to Vozab. As it's kicked, deflected, Carnero kicks it in. And another goal here. As the clock stops up, CIU now leads 6-1 here with 9 minutes left. Definitely the longest 15 minutes of play coming in the final. As Viscaro lines up in the circle. You can see Coach Morton not too happy with what his men have been doing in the final 15, giving up as many goals as play resumes. Back from Callaway. Lopez to a bongo. Missed. That's driven away by Lay. Tripped up once again. And 8:39 left here as that's kicked towards Rodriguez. Collins, a missed head. Kicked up and away, almost missed by Viscaro. As that's headed out of bounds by Lopez. Kicked past Collins right to Johansson. Lopez It's knocked up. Dandridge kicking it back to Mendoza. Sumrall. Stop by Lay. Mendoza coming out to retrieve the ball. Yamamoto shouldering it down. Off the back of Constanti. Stopped up right to Mendoza. 6:30 left here in the game. Over towards Callaway. Quintilla. Tripped up is Garcia. As he falls. And a free kick coming up. Almost, but it rolls out the back line, setting up a corner kick. Kicked up by Viscaro. Constanti kicked away. Passed over. Almost out of bounds, but Rodriguez stopping it up as that's headed up by Collins. Kicked away. Off the body of Dandridge. De Oliveira. Kicked away by Collins. There's a bit of a shove there by Kabwe. Kicked up towards center field as Gustavo de Oliveira kicks it away. Almost headed in, but off of the side. .316 stopped as some substitutes come in. And they resume play. Santos. Viscaro. Rodriguez to De Oliveira. Headed up and out of bounds. With 2:40 left here in the game. De Oliveira.
Ooh.
I think it was just a little bit of a love tap that made him crumble just a little bit, like one of those crumble zones that you have on your car. I mean, every car has crumble zones. They're meant for safety. But Cullen's in a foot race at the far sideline as it rolls out of bounds, and possession is still with CIU as we go under 2 minutes here in the game. Possession still with CIU as it's knocked out by Collins. Kicked across, and another goal coming in from, let me make sure I have that right, in number 18, Galdino out of Recife, Brazil. And CIU now goes up 7-1 with 1:30 left. Kicked away. Dandridge on the far touchline as it goes back to Mendoza. Far touchline is Summerall. Summerall kicked over and across, but deflected by Quintilla. As 50 seconds are read on the scoreboard. Sprinting as he's tripped up. Nothing's blown. Still possession is Bluefield. Kicked away. Mendoza, 20 seconds left. Final ticks of the clock. And that's your game. CIU Rams take this one 7-1 on the road, extending their win streak to 9, and the Rams were not able to topple their undefeated season. And the Rams go 5-4 as they go to play this week here at the East Ridge Soccer Complex on Wednesday when they take on Union College in some AAC play. I'll be on the call for that one. Games start at 5 and 7. Ethan, that's quite a disappointing loss there.
Very disappointing loss, but you're going up against one of the, you said, I believe in the pregame, they're up for grabs right here on the NAIA polling. So, you're playing a top team in the AAC, and, they've shown their true colors really in the second half. I think the Bluefield University Rams might have let their foot off the gas a little bit on the defense, but overall, I really think that, they're just playing a tough team. Now, also, me and Jackson will also be on the call on Tuesday. Tune in for women's volleyball, as we're going to have an interesting matchup there. They're actually on the road right now at Brunel, hopefully taking a win back as they, I forget, what team are we playing on Tuesday?
So, to give you guys a little bit of stuff for the women's team, the women's volleyball takes on Brunel to try to extend their their win streak to number 8 and number 9. Of course, playing Brunel in Gainesville, Georgia tonight at 6:30 p.m. where you can catch it. Find our stuff on bcrams.com. You go to select team, select volleyball, then go to their schedule, and all our links are there, along with Truett McConnell tomorrow morning in Cleveland, Georgia, followed by them coming finally back home after a long week on the road to take on Montreat College in the Dome Gymnasium, as that would actually end up putting their win streak at number 10 as they face their in-season foe, the only team in the AAC to take us down, Bryan College, the following Thursday. So definitely you want to stick around and keep all your coverage. Like I said, you can find all of the stats and schedules and all the results on bcrams.com. And, of course, we post daily content and all sorts of stuff on our social medias at BC Rams, Bluefield Rams, on all of our socials. Ethan, what can the Rams really take away from this loss?
Really, I think, this is a great character builder, a great morale builder. Definitely, I think sometimes during that second half especially, they had some lapses mentally and emotionally. You saw a lot of cards flying in the second half, and almost a red card coming for Devin Callaway. Definitely, I believe that the Rams, in order to get a more focused game, just like Coach Gallimore said about his girls in volleyball, a lot of comparative stuff to talk about here when we say stuff about emotional and mental lapses. In order to stay in the game, you got to stay with it, and with that includes keeping some cool tempers and cool heads. The game is high velocity, it's high voltage, so it's hard not to react the way they did tonight, but definitely the key to success is to really keep it under control.
Yeah, those mental lapses have been costing a lot of Bluefield teams, not only the soccer team, but a lot has actually gone down today. Of course, the women's, although losing 10-1, capturing their first goal from Bella Cox. And, of course, this is a very close game up until about midway through the second half, where CIU walked away with it. Like I said, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget, tomorrow we take on number 25 Faulkner University as they make their trip up from Montgomery, Alabama to Mitchell Stadium in Bluefield, West Virginia. Kickoff set for 6 p.m. and it'll definitely be broadcasted on the Rams Digital Sports Network, and we're going to have a special guest broadcaster, if I can find it real quick. Of course, Devin cannot be with us on that day, but we will be having, I want to make sure I have this right, Andy Los will be our play-by-play for that game. So, of course, please join us tomorrow at 6 p.m. if you can't be there on the Rams Digital Sports Network. To recap this one, CIU takes this win on the road 7-1 against your Bluefield University Rams. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and take it easy, Rams fans.